Hello, my name is Magda Galloway, and this lecture will introduce a very current and rapidly developing topic of artificial intelligence, or AI. This lecture is designed to complement the resources and activities from your RWLDs will be followed up by the activities and discussion in the lab portion of this course. Why is it important that we talk about it? Well, in the next few decades, it will affect pretty much any career field that your students will pursue. Any consumer product they will use and the policies that they will shape their lives will have some aspect of AI in it. It will change how students research, how they acquire knowledge, how they create, and how they engage with each other and the technology. It will also affect you, the teacher, and your craft. There will be new tools to support your students' learning that may require change in pedagogy. In a way, you will assess students' knowledge. It may prompt you to re-examine what kind of skills and dispositions will be important to focus on while preparing your students to thrive in an era of AI. You'll definitely need to be analytical and also flexible and approach it all with a growth mindset. Let's start from the basic definition. So what is AI? The clearest definition I found is that artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence process. So the ability to perceive and learn from its mistake is so different from just a regular computer. Although the topic of AI boomed with availability to the average consumer of ChatGPT, it is really not a new concept. Wearable fitness trackers that analyze our health-related patterns, the chatbots used in an online consumer services, all the algorithms analyzing your shopping patterns, what music do you like, what you lately streamed on Netflix or YouTube or whatever is there. This has all existed before, and it's just lately with that generative AI that it's available for everyday consumer, for students. That's why we have now this new topics and conversation around that. We know what's AI, so what's not AI? Well, basically technologies that need to be set by us to work, and they are not learning from our behavior and are not adapting over time, are not AI. And so think about typical microwave or dishwasher. It has many functions, but we need to set them according to our needs. So all the machines that are set up with the specific sensors like day, night light sensor, or follow specific algorithms like a if-then logic. For example, thermostat, you set your comfort temperature, and if it is warmer, then air conditioner will kick in. If someone moves email to this folder, then it is marked as spam. So always requires your intervention to select the option. It is an example of automation, but it is not an example of AI. Okay, so before we move any further, let's very quickly work on our jargon. Those are concepts that you will consistently encounter throughout various resources, and I will go through them pretty fast because you will have access to the lecture handouts and you can refer to it in the future. But I feel like we need to mention that. First one is machine learning. It is a type of artificial intelligence that is focused on building computer systems that learn from data. It focuses on development of algorithms and models that enable computer systems to learn from and make predictions or decisions based on data. So machine learning is kind of overarching field that includes various learning techniques, including deep learning. And deep learning is a machine learning technique that teaches computer to do what comes naturally to humans, to learn by example. Deep learning is the key technology behind driverless cars, enabling them to recognize stop sign or distinguish a pedestrian from lamppost. Deep learning ties to mimicking of the human brain. Generative AI or generative artificial intelligence is a technology that uses advanced algorithms and deep learning models to generate new content such as text, images, audio, data based on that learning. It can assist in content creation, that it's not directly copied from existing example. So imagine that you coming back from a museum inspired by few artists, and you're trying to create unique artwork yourself. You're heavily inspired by what you saw in your trip to museum, but you're not plagiarizing it. It's just you taking certain art styles to recreate your own image. That's what generative AI does too. Here are creative examples made by users like you, thanks to the generative AI. The AI can create its mashup because there is an extensive database of references to pull from. Here's the creation from Midjourney, a generative AI tool that transforms text prompts into visual art. You can see the description that were used to generate the image. Here's a poem about students in my class generated from me in ChatGPT. The prompt was, create a light-hearted poem tribute to the future teachers in Magda's course at the College of Education, highlighting their beauty as humans, learning about technology, integration, backwards design, information literacy, and AI. Mention students wearing imaginative teaching hats. I didn't love the very first version, so I regenerate the response. And here are the results. You're welcome to pause, read them. I think we can skip allowed read. So the AI models that understand human language in text are called large language models, LLMs. LLM excels in understanding and generating text-based content, such as answering questions, language translations, and text generation. And in one of your RWLD videos, they were called incredibly sophisticated autocomplete, and I think that there is something into it. GPT stands for generative, pre-trained, transformer. Generative because generates human-like text based on a received input, so on the prompts, on the questions or requests you have when you're interacting with that chat. Well, it is important to remember that it is still in the developing form, hence all the disclaimers with ChatGPT and other language models that it may not be accurate. The disclaimers are very clear: approach with caution and those of critical thinking. Finally, the last one deals with the computer vision. And computer vision is the field of AI that trains computers to interpret and understand the visual world. So it's using digital images from cameras and videos and deep learning models and machines that can accurately identify and classify objects and then react to what they see. For example, face recognition, anything from entertainment through organization of your photos in your photo library to surveillance, or analyzing x-rays and CAT scans in healthcare, or spotting defects in manufacturing companies, or analyzing satellite-like images. All this is in the computer vision field. All right, so that was a quick run through the jargon. Let's move back to the classroom and think how AI benefit our students. The biggest value I see is in that moments where one busy teacher is just not enough to truly personalize the learning for each student. Well-trained AI can probably help you with personalized learning, with assessing individual students' needs, with customized pathways, with adapting their reading levels, or supporting them in time of their bigger need when you may not be there. Naturally, human connections, teacher style, and love is irreplaceable, and the best teaching happens as an exchange between people. But in certain situations, you're just one teacher with overworked para in your class, and many students may need assistance after hours. You can also foster students' independence by referring them to smart assistants like Siri or Alexa or Google Lens. Maybe they can use predictive text to finish certain tasks or use the language translation if they struggle with the language. It can foster their independence and critical thinking, and they can practice how to ask the question. Think about it, how often you are yourself frustrated when you ask Siri or Alexa about doing something for you, and your question is not clear, so your answer is not clear. There is a learning curve in asking the right question. Maybe you can use it to your advantage. All right, so to flip the coin, what's in it for me, the teacher? AI can help you with efficiency. It can automate certain tasks, certain clerical tasks. It can help you with generating materials, gathering materials, data analysis. So when you're thinking about this personalized learning for your students, if AI is adapting to them and tracking them, you probably would be able to benefit from that as well, to track students' progress and see how they learn, where they made most mistakes. Here is the example, the screenshot of Magic School AI. It is a platform designed by a team of teachers and former principals to, as they describe in their philosophy, to allow teachers to teach without the burden of clerical work. It is a form of large language model and generative pre-trained AI. You can see that it is divided into the teaching specific categories of tools like choice board generator, lesson or unit plan generator, rubric generator, email family tool, and more. We will examine and look closer on these tools in our labs. All right, so you might have a lot of questions by now, so it will be a good time to pause and analyze what you learned so far. Do not dismiss those questions and address your doubts and fears. Name your wishes. I hope we can have a good discussion during our labs and hands-on activities. It is important that you use your critical thinking to deepen your understanding of the new, very new really, tool and changes in your profession. What kind of challenges and considerations you may have? Maybe something related to the privacy or security. Maybe you're afraid, hey, will my job even be relevant? Will I be still needed as a teacher? What if everyone will be relying on technology too much? What if we're trusting artificial intelligence too much? I really don't understand how it works. Can I trust it? Where the information really truly come from? Who is training it? Who will train me? Do I have enough PD? What about all the biases or fairness or ethical use behind technology and AI? It's easier to cheat on certain assignments. Can I still allow my students to use AI in their classrooms? How long the tools that I'm currently using will be free? Will I need to pay for them soon? There's a lot of questions that you may have, and I hope that you have them, and I hope that you will be asking other teachers, content teachers at university, and maybe teachers that you'll be working at in your practicum levels, because we all are in the same situation. It is new, and we all need to learn and address the circling issues and fears and hopes for that. Well-executed AI education promotes critical thinking and problem solving. So there is no surprise that our good old Bloom taxonomy may need a bit of revising as well when it comes to structuring the assessment or learning goals. If you look at this Bloom's taxonomy created by Oregon State University campus, you can see this triangle in the middle. This is how the AI capabilities go. So you can see that the bottom level, the remembering level, the recall information, defining terms, listing facts and such may be easily retrieved from AI or tech tools, not even AI tools. So desirable skills will be learning to ask the right questions, analyze the data, make informed decision, develop creative solution, understand how AI or data gathering process works. Those are skills that will be valuable in any profession. Understanding AI should also include discussions about ethical issues, bias, and fairness, and it will take creativity to a different level of assignment and assessment that you typically grow up with to change. You're probably asking yourself by now how to approach teaching about artificial intelligence to our students. And there are a lot of educational resources, and new ones are emerging daily. Remember that you are in a lifelong profession, and with developing tools like AI, there will be a lot of new guidelines and resources for you, the teacher. But one of the early framework was created by AI for K-12 initiative to develop national guidelines for teaching concept of AI in K-12. And they group all the related concepts into 5 focus topics, 5 big ideas in AI. So how computers perceive through sensors, how they reason based on the representation of the worlds that was fed to them, how they learn from the large amount of data, how they are created to mimic humans and natural human interaction. And finally, the last big idea related to the impact of our society surrounding the positive and negative issues such as issues of bias and fairness. And each of those key phrases you can download from their website. They have a website with a grade band progression charts, kind of like a depth of knowledge in core standards that we're analyzing. So for example, if I click on the big idea 1, which deals with the perception, I can open the progression chart, and you can see how it goes from K to 12th grade in a progression, it depends in a critical thinking and a level of thinking. So for example, if you look at the first concept, in the younger grades, you help students identify human senses and sensory organs, so starting from ourselves. Then you can think about animal perception and learn a little bit about sonars and echolocations and ultraviolet that certain animals have as extra sensors. Then you can progress in the older grades and start thinking about how humans combine information from multiple modalities, how you can use it to our advantage. We will look through it a little bit more during our labs. And the links are located in RWLDs. All right, so here you have it. Digital information happening for many, many years. Since AI ambition is to mimic human behavior, we are a subject of AI learning, often without really questioning how this works or how it influences your interactions with the world. You may heard the term tyranny of convenience. It is a concept often used in a context of consumer culture and technology-driven lifestyle. How much we are willing to give up or overlook to be happy, to be convenient. Look it up. It is quite fascinating. Well, one thing I know is that AI will not likely regress. It will influence us and our students' lives. And since we are in the lifelong learning profession, it is on us to keep up and understand the implication of the current trends. We are living in exciting times. Embrace it. Thank you for choosing to be teachers. Thank you for choosing to be teachers. And thank you for working so hard to adapt to the fast-paced changing times.